Today, we're going to start learning our next unit, and our next unit is one of the most creative parts about business. We just studied about entrepreneurship, what it takes to run it, get an idea for a business, get it started, get it going, and entrepreneurs is what drives our country. Now, you have this idea. How do you communicate this product, this service, whatever business idea you have to your customers? So what we need to do is we have to go through and learn about marketing. So that's our next topic. So we'll take a look at the basics of marketing, and we're going to take a look at, we're going to market a product successfully. The company has to understand what people want to buy it and why they want to buy it. A key term we have is market. Market is a group of customers who share common wants and needs. Remember how we studied our economic concepts of needs and wants? Well, that's going to go through and determine what our market is. So what is marketing? Marketing is the process of creating, promoting, and presenting products or services to meet the wants and needs of all of our customers. So we have several functions of marketing, 7 in fact, and we'll talk about them. The first thing is distribution. So when we talk about how do we get our goods and services to our customers, that's distribution. So how do we purchase? How do we get our stock, inventory control, and physically, how do we get them to our customers? Financing is one of the functions of marketing, and that basically is taking a look at where is the money that you get in order for you to set up and run your business. Our third function is marketing information management. Big phrase, basically saying that we're going to gather and analyze information about our consumers, trends, and competitors' products. Take a look at what happened when the iPhone went through and pulled out the jack for being able to connect. Now they had to go through and actually get the Bluetooth connections, and that went through, and then we have competitors that had to go through and see what are they going to do with that. So you always have to take a look at all of the information out there. You can't operate in a silo. You need to know what your competition is doing. Fourth function of marketing is pricing. That is trying to figure out how much to charge for a product or service so that you can make a profit. You can't just pick a number and be like, oh, this will be fine. You have to make sure that you still can make a profit. You make a profit by making sure that your revenue is greater than your expenses. Here we go with our next function of marketing, which is our product services management. Basically, that means getting, developing, and maintaining or improving your product in response to our market opportunities. Do any of you want to buy a flip phone? I'm going to guess not. Why? Well, that used to be the only type of phone people would buy. Now, taking a look at what consumers want and what is trending with our products, we have to change. So businesses have to change based on what is happening. Our sixth function is called promotion, and this is what people traditionally think about marketing. That's a way for us to inform, persuade, or remind customers about our business's products or services. And here we go with selling. Selling is providing customers with the goods and services that they choose to buy. So some companies actually go through and use relationship marketing to go ahead and build and maintain those relationships. Now, some products that we have out there, you don't really need to be sold to buy. Like, when you're going to buy toilet paper, you go to the store and you buy toilet paper or toothpaste. You don't need somebody to tell you about the features of the products. Now, if you were actually going to go buy a refrigerator, or if you're going to buy a car, you might actually need somebody to tell you about that. So different products or services are going to require different amount of selling. So what is our marketing mix? Our marketing mix is basically what we need to know to determine the price of our product. So we have 4 strategies that help us determine that, and that is going to be product, place, promotion, and price. Now, it has been added, our 5th P for marketing is going to be people, because we have to understand what people are in order for us to go through. Now, when we take a look at our first P, which is product, okay, we have to take a look at, is there a demand for our product and service? Okay, this includes your name, your packaging, what goes along with your products or services to make sure that it is appealing to your customers. One of the biggest things you're going to see a company is going to do is it's going to develop a logo. And a logo is going to basically give you a visual identity to our company or brand. This logo is going to be something that people see and they instantly recognize what the company is. It's used in their video, their print ad, and as any business material out there. Now there's this great logo quiz right here that I would normally have done in class with you because it's a fun one to do. I'm going to give you the link to it and I want you to play it because that's what you're going to recognize what logos are. So the second P is going to be place. Place is going to be the how and the where customers will buy products and services. Okay, so channel distribution, big fancy word. What does that mean? Basically, how do we get our products to our consumers? So we have direct distribution. Basically, that means it goes directly from the producer to the consumer. Or you're going to have indirect distribution and involves one or more intermediaries. So now I want you to think about this product. Gum. Okay, if you want to buy a pack of gum, where do you go? I'm sure some of you thought maybe a grocery store, gas station, Target, Walmart. Any one of those places you can go and you can buy gum. Now, have you ever been to a gum store? I haven't. I've been to a candy store where they have all kinds of different candy, but I've never been to a store that just sells gum. So gum is going to be an example of indirect distribution. So the Wrigley Gum Company is going to go ahead and they're going to get their gum out to lots of different people through many different intermediaries. You can get the gum in a lot of different spots. Now, if I want you to think of Under Armour, okay? Under Armour, you have a couple different ways. You have direct distribution because you can go ahead and go to the Under Armour store to buy directly from them. Or, for example, I can go to Dick's or other sporting goods and I can buy from them as well. So we have a couple different ways that will work from there. So the place is going to be, how do our customers get our products? Price. Price is going to be a big one. Oftentimes there is a price point where consumers are going to go through and second guess whether they will buy it. For example, if I'm going to spend something more than $100, oftentimes I step back and think is this the right amount? Now if it's going to be less than $5, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, not a problem. So we want to make sure that we set the price of the product that we can still make our profit. Okay, so what are our customers willing to pay? What is the price of our competitors? If I am going to open up a pizza spot in Seymour and I am going to charge $30 for a pizza, oftentimes my customers in the area aren't going to pay $30 for a pizza. Well, why? Well, I can go to Quick Trip and I can get a pizza a lot cheaper. I can go to bars or restaurants and get some pizzas for cheaper as well. So I cannot set the price of my product or good or service a lot higher than others unless it warrants it. And I don't think a $30 pizza in Seymour is going to go over really well. The other biggest part of this, again, is with your price, one of your marketing mix ones is going to be, can you make a profit? You have to know what your costs are, and then you have to make sure that you can make a profit. If you don't make a profit, you're not going to be able to stay in business. One of the key terms that we have here is called break-even point. Okay, the break-even point is when total revenues and sales is equal to the costs and expenses. So breaking even is okay, but you want to run a business so you make money. So we want to make sure that we do better than just breaking even. So our next P is going to be called promotion. And again, this is the big part that people think with marketing. Basically, it involves getting the consumers to know about your product. Okay. Oftentimes, people associate promotion with advertising. So what do we do for this? We have to do some market research. In order for us to advertise, we need to know information about the size, location, and makeup of our market. Again, our market is who is going to be buying our products. Okay, the marketing concept is determining the wants and the needs of customers and providing them with more efficient and effective than their competitors. Why should I buy from you? Why do I want to buy an iPhone? Why don't I go ahead and buy a Samsung? So they go through and they take a look at what is different and what can be something different between the two. So we have to take a look at our consumers. Okay, before a product is put on the market, we have to go through and gather information about the people who make up the market. Okay, so they can analyze and set this up by demographics. Demographics is basically we go through and determine facts about the population. It's where we go through and say, are we trying to target teenagers? Are we trying to target retirees? Are we taking a look at moms? Are we taking a look at toddlers? Who is our market? We always get our information about our demographics through surveys, sales figures, databases, and censuses. Have you ever gone to a store and bought something, and then before you leave, they ask you for your zip code? Well, they do that because then they can see kind of where you live, and it gives them information about their customers. Or if you buy a product and then you fill out the product warranty and it asks you what you're interested in, that also gives them important information about their customers. So after you study the market, basically you're going to take a look at, you can aim your product and service at that potential list of customers. Okay, so if I'm going to go through and advertise and sell snowmobiles, I'm not going to worry about advertising in Florida. It doesn't make sense. That's not going to be where my consumers are. Okay, your target market, basically you are going to go through and take a look at, and you're going to focus on the people most likely to buy your goods and services. It doesn't do you a lot of good to kind of advertise in areas where you know that's not going to be your customers. When we take a look at our demographics, we're going to come up with something called market segmentation. Okay, market segmentation is basically the division of the market for a product for groups of customers who have the same needs and traits. So when I talk about moms, well, if you are a mom and then you have toddlers, that is a specific group of customers. They have the same needs, they have the same traits. If I take a look at teenagers, they have the same needs and the same traits. So it's very important that we take a look at grouping our demographics and understanding who our customers are. We have 7 steps for coming up with our product development. Our first step is you have to come up with your ideas. The biggest thing that you can do with your ideas is brainstorm, brainstorm, brainstorm. When you brainstorm, you don't say this isn't a good idea or that won't work. You just keep coming up with ideas, because that flow and thought process, that creativity, is going to be really important. So workers will get together and they will think about products or services using brainstorming. The development market is going to go through and they're going to have staff that's going to take a look at outside researchers may be involved. You might want to talk to consumers. Talk to the people that use your products firsthand. Oftentimes some people may develop a product and then they talk to consumers and they find out they use it in a different way, and that can be really helpful for them to understand how it's being used. Okay, steps 2 is screening the ideas. After you come up with your big list of ideas, you have to go through and evaluate. Don't do it while you brainstorm. Wait till you're done. Then you have to determine how do those ideas fit into your company's mission and strategy. Okay, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be the premier company in their area, so you're only offering high-end stuff, or are you taking a look at offering things that everyone can get into? You have to go through and take a look at how does your product compete with your company's existing products. So for example, I know that a while back, the company Colgate, I hope you recognize Colgate as a company that makes toothpaste, but do you know that they made frozen food items? Doesn't that seem a little weird? I do. So basically, when they took a look at it, they had some frozen food items, and then they realized that people did not associate the name Colgate with frozen food, so it did not go very well. You also have to take a look at what do your consumers say. Your response from your consumers is going to be crucial. Step 3 is your business plan. Now, we talked about this using your small business administration, going through and developing a business plan, but basically you have to take a look at, get those creative ideas, pass the screening process. If one of those 2 ideas are developed, you're going to go ahead and make your business plan. In order to make that, you have to take a look at your market. We have to look at what our estimated sales are, what are your costs, what is your profit potential, and your market trends and competing products. That's one of the things that you saw when you watched your episode of Shark Tank. They talked a lot about cost and sales and what competitors are doing. You have to be aware of that. You can't operate in isolation and not aware of your competition. Step 4 is taking a look at your product and you develop it. Are you in favor of the product? Basically, you're going to make something called a prototype. The prototype is going to be the first one made. Oftentimes, that's what you saw pitched in Shark Tank itself. They made a prototype and they've gone through and developed it, and they went to the sharks in order for them to go through and help them to make it more cost effective. Okay, so a prototype is what you use to see what the new product will look like. It also allows you to test how it can be made, and you can take a look at what will happen in delays in finalizing the product as it can be tested, because you don't want to put out a product, let's say, whose battery just starts on fire like it happened in Samsung, and then you have to do a lot of things that'll fix it. So you want to make sure before you put everything out in the hands of the consumer, it's good to go. Step 5 is going to take a look at, we're going to test market the product. Once your product is fully out there, you want to make sure that it is test marketed. Basically, that we are going to offer this product to a limited market for a limited time, just to see kind of how they're doing. And then you can get some really valuable feedback on how the customers liked it and what happened within their product. Okay, what happens though is when you do this testing, it does give your competitors time to produce a similar product. So you need to be aware of it, but you also need to do this step because you don't want to go full out giving out this new product if there's going to be a glitch in it. Step 6 is introducing the product. So after you've tested it, you've developed it, we know that it's good to go and you're going to put it out there for everyone. You're going to take a look at, you're going to put it in the marketplace. So we have to go through and create publicity. You have to make a campaign to make sure we introduce this product to everyone. The cost of launching a brand new product is extremely high because you have to do all of this work, steps 1 through 6, before you're actually going to start generating money. But you can't generate this money until you know whether or not the customer likes it. Okay? You have a short amount of time in the market before competitors are going to develop something similar, and that's going to be your competition. So what are you going to do to make yourself stand out? Step 7 is going to take a look at, you go back and talk with your customers and see what they like, okay? They're going to track your customers, you're going to get responses, you're going to answer questions. Now, sometimes your customers are going to be not willing to give you information, so sometimes you will go through and say, if you're willing to fill out the survey, maybe you get a chance to be entered into getting a $25 gift card or future services. So you're going to do that to get information. The other key thing is it finds out who are your best customers. Okay, once you know who your best customers are, you can then encourage them to buy new products, because if you want them to be brand loyal to you and keep coming back, that's going to help. Okay. It also tells you how often customers are going to be buying this product. Okay. So that is our very first intro to marketing. I'm going to be giving you 2 links for you to take a look at. I'm going to give you the logo quiz. Play that. It is so much fun. It's my favorite activity to do with Intro to Business. And then I have a little Quizlet live there that you can go through and review to make sure you understand those concepts. They'll have fun with marketing.